detox and nutrition clinic. They basically get you on a lot of purified water and these green juices, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and just getting you back to nature. And they just bring awareness to the man-made toxic chemicals and that are in our atmosphere, in our water, in our food, in our just everywhere. It's everywhere. Personal care products, shampoos, all these types of things. There's just so many toxins. So getting those out really transformed my life. My friend, long story short, heals himself of cancer. No chemotherapy, no surgery, no radiation, nothing. He's alive today, doing well. I played guitar with him about a few days ago. It was wonderful. He was able to see his son graduate high school, go on to college, and go to father-son weekend. So an amazing story that he had. And by osmosis, by me going to support him, I learned a lot of the stuff that is part of my lifestyle today. And we're going to teach you just a little sample of some of the stuff we learned. We've been practicing for the last 10 years. It's transformed my health from a guy that was very overweight. I had eczema on my elbows. I was bleeding rectally. I was eating tons of Rolaids because of acid reflux. I had an organ removed, destroyed a vacation for my family because of my medical issues, basically. Because what I learned is that my poor health doesn't affect just me, does it? No, it affects everyone else around me, my friends and my family and that kind of stuff. So when I got back from Hippocrates, they teach a plant-based lifestyle and mostly living foods. Now, if you can see behind me here, what I've got is I've got stuff like wheatgrass, sunflower sprouts. We've got pea sprouts over here and some more wheatgrass. So these are the three core sprouts and grasses that they taught. In fact, wheatgrass, as an example, it's kind of the symbol. It's like the logo at the Hippocrates Health Institute. And they actually, you don't eat the wheatgrass. We juice that one only. The sunflower and pea sprouts can be eaten or juiced, and we do both of those. And the reason why we do that is because they're living foods. Okay, this is beyond. Tonight we're doing raw, and we're putting some sprouts in. So we're going to have a combination of raw and sprouts, which are the living foods that bring in a whole nother level of nutrition for us, the hormones, the oxygen, the phytochemicals, and the enzymes. So what you're going to notice is when you start eating more raw foods, which it's nothing new. I mean, it's just, have you ever picked up an apple and ate an apple? Well, guess what? You're a raw foodist. And you've been doing it for a long time. So it's not that big of a deal to eat something that's not cooked. How many of us have went out in the garden and picked out a tomato and ate it, or ate a strawberry? Well, you're eating raw food. And that's how nature intended us to eat food. So what we've done as society and been commercialized is we've been taught to let somebody else grow our food, harvest our food, irradiate our food, pasteurize our food, put our food in boxes and cans and jars and heat it and do all these weird things and add chemicals to it and additives and all these things. And then that's the disconnect. And that's why our bodies are breaking down and why people in America are gaining weight and having all these health issues. So when I got back from Hippocrates, I was literally freaked out because they shared all this stuff with me. And I'm like, I didn't know what to eat. So these raw wraps are what I ate them like every day because I didn't know what to make anything else. But they got me by until I was able to get some more recipes and stuff like that. So I want to, number one, first off, congratulate you challengers out there for joining the Nature's Pantry Challenge and being a part of improving your own health. Because by you improving your health, you're making a difference, not just in your life, but the lives of your family and friends and the people around you. As they're going to see these changes happening in you, you're going to inspire a lot of people. So stick with it. Sometimes the friends and the family aren't the best supporters up front. Hopefully they are in your case, but sometimes they're like, what are you doing? You don't know anything. Just stay in the group, stay in the challenge. We're going to be here. We're going to support you. We're going to love on you. And we're going to help you with recipes like this tonight to make this easy transition for you into a healthier lifestyle. So here we go. So tonight we're going to be making raw wraps, and you can make these a million different ways. Tonight, hopefully you've got your ingredients. You have all the stuff here. I have everything that Blake wanted us to have, plus a couple extra things we'll go through, and we're going to make them. And it's actually really easy. So instead of like a tortilla shell or a tortilla, roll or whatever, the wrap is basically going to be, in this case, this is going to be some romaine lettuce. Okay. Now you could also use a butter lettuce leaf, or you could take cabbage as an example, and you could peel, you could pull the leaves off of these cabbages. I'm doing a very poor job, but this is just the first one. Actually, what I would do is I would actually take my knife and then I would cut it like that. And then that's how I would pull off a leaf, and then it would come off much easier. So there you go. So we can put the ingredients of the raw wrap in cabbage, fold it up, and then and then we eat it that way. But tonight what we're going to do is we're just going to do it on the romaine lettuce leaf. Okay. So this is a really simple recipe. So you guys have your Lily's organic hummus. So let's start off with that. We'll just open that up. I already took the top off earlier. Grab a spoon. And it's just so easy. So this is going to be the meat of the heavy part of the taco here. These raw wraps, these raw tacos, living food tacos, raw tacos, whatever you want to call them. They got a bunch of different names. So that's like the heavy portion, right? That's going to give you the substance. Now, hummus. This is hummus. And now it's made of chickpeas. Now, a lot of people are like, well, how am I going to get my protein if I'm not having meat in a meal? Like when I went to Hippocrates, I was freaking freaked out. Like I was, for those of you that know me, I grew up in Eastern Oregon hunting and fishing, and meat was like a big part of my life. And I thought you were going to die and you couldn't have muscles or anything if you didn't have meat. Well, people forget that things like chickpeas are 25% protein. Think about that, 25%. Spinach is 19% protein, right? So what the problem is we eat too much protein and we destroy our kidneys. And don't take my word for it. Just look around. How many of these dialysis clinics are popping up all over the place? And more people are having kidney issues nowadays. It's because of the overconsumption of protein, right? So we need less protein and we need more vegetables in our diet and more carbs that are not like pastas, all right? So anyway, there's the base. We put that on there. Now we can put some of our condiments. Let's go ahead and put on some, these are these chopped up, I'll just hold this up like this so you can see it, Lynn. It's chopped up cucumbers. You can just put some of those in there, okay? Then we're going to take and we're going to put some chopped up red peppers. These are really beautiful. Add some color to your life. Really nice. And you could use yellow peppers. You could use orange peppers or these red peppers. The one thing I will steer you away from, and when it comes to bell peppers, is never use green peppers. Okay, green peppers were hybrid to not ripen, and they're for chefs because chefs wanted a green pepper for aesthetics. But what you're doing is when you consume a green pepper, you're consuming an unripened vegetable, and that unripened vegetable is going to go into your body and it's going to steal minerals from your body. What's that going to do? Well, your body's going to have to put minerals with that food to digest it. So it's going to get it from where? From your bones. So you're going to demineralize your bones, and you're going to have, this will lead to osteoporosis and osteopenia and, broken hips and, all that kind of stuff. You can break your bones easier. So dairy products do that, and also unripened fruit and unripened vegetables. But the green peppers are they're hidden bad guys because you don't think they're bad, but they are, because any green pepper is unripened, even though it looks like it's ripe. So just use the red ones. Okay, now we'll put some green onion on here. We'll top it off with a little bit of green onion. It's such an easy thing to do. And then I'll set this down. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this bitchin' sauce on. I think I might be able to say that I was the one that got the folks over at Blake and the folks over at Nature's Pantry to bring bitchin' sauce, and I hope I was, because it's really yummy. You can put on whatever you want. This is an almond-based dressing type thing. It's very heavy, kind of like hummus. It's based on almonds, and it's very heavy and yummy. So it's going to be very filling. So just be careful if you're doing the bitchin' sauce and you have any allergies to almonds. Just be aware of that. So now we have that on there, and then now we're going to take. Now I know you guys locally are getting Jen's Garden microgreens. So we don't have Jen around here in Canby, which is south of Portland, but we've got these Mount Hood microgreens. This is the mix right here. So you can take a peek at those. And we're just going to take a few of these microgreens and we're going to put them on there. And that's going to be beautiful. Okay. And that's done. Now, another thing we can do too is if you want to step it up down the road, this is a good place to start. Nature's Pantry also has broccoli sprouts. They have alfalfa sprouts. They have radish sprouts in stock. I think they might even have red clover. These are those living foods that have the hormones, the oxygen, the phytochemicals, and enzymes like these. So I can come over here and I'm literally harvesting these on the spot, just like a wild creature. And then I could just cut these and put those right into my raw wrap. And now I've got a living food that's going to supply my body with all those micronutrients that you're not going to get from vegetables that have been picked and been sitting around for a week or two in a grocery store. But and there you have it. So now what I would do is I like to take well, let's do this first. You can take a little bit of cumin. Okay. Now you can take cumin and you can mix it into the hummus. You can take your spices and mix them into the hummus ahead of time, or you can just shake it on a little bit afterwards. So I'll put a little cumin on there. Now, what I would do sometimes is I would make it for more of a Mexican flair. I put cumin and coriander and maybe a little chili powder. But tonight we're just going to do cumin. I like turmeric as well, an organic turmeric, and we'll put some turmeric on there. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory, which is really important for all the inflammation we're dealing with today. We have a turmeric product I'll share with you in a moment. If you want to, you can put some garlic powder on there, or just leave it as it is. It doesn't really matter. You put a little bit of that on there. And then what I have here, I actually got, not this one, but the first one I got was at Nature's Pantry. This is the Siete brand hot sauce habanero. So the one thing I will say about it, it does have apple cider vinegar in it. And we try to stay away from putting vinegar in our food because it offsets the digestive enzymes. But a little bit in the beginning won't hurt. This is really awesome stuff. We can put some of that on there. And then the last thing, before we put some lemon on there, is this. We've got some sauerkraut. And there's different sauerkrauts. This is the Bubby sauerkraut. And they make it without the vinegar, which is nice. I'll just grab a fork. And we can put a little bit of this on there. And it's really yummy. It's got a nice flavor to it. And what we're doing here is we're putting more of these probiotics. You guys have probably heard about probiotics. There's a lot of marketing on probiotics for the last 10 years. We'll put a little bit of that on there. That's nice. Set that off to the side. And then the very last thing is I like to tie everything in with a little bit of lemon or a little bit of lime juice. And I think that really, really makes the taco and really ties in all the flavors. So I'll just squeeze a little bit of that on there. And voila, you have yourself a raw wrap. The only other thing I could think of that I forgot is very important, actually. It's on the menu here, is the Dulse sea vegetables. Now, you can buy these in bigger leaves and then dehydrate them and then kind of crunch them up. I buy them already pre-ground. These are Dulse granules. And then we'll put a little bit of that right on top. And what we're doing here is what we just did is we just super loaded this raw wrap with minerals. These sea vegetables are some of the most nutritious foods that you can find from the ocean. And they're loaded with minerals. And we need that today because 85% of the minerals have been farmed out of our soil. So what we've got here is we're literally breaking down on a cellular level as a society because the minerals are gone. So even if you're eating organic vegetables like we have here, they're still probably grown in nutrient deficient soils to the tune of 85%. Or if you're eating an animal, let's say you're having a steak and that animal ate a vegetable, that's what they fed it, that was grown in nutrient deficient soils, then the animal is going to be deficient. So think about that. We are literally, as a society, walking around trying to live and exist on 15% fuel. Can you imagine what's going to happen to your life when you start flooding your body with all this missing nutrients? So Dulse vegetables from the sea are a very concentrated mineral source. They're also high in iodine, which is missing in our soil today. And that leads to a lot of thyroid issues for those of you dealing with Hashimoto's, Graves' disease, just weight gain, having a hard time losing weight. These are typically hormonal issues. And it's one of the reasons is a lack of iodine in your food supply. So putting Dulse on everything. Lynn, how often do we put dulse on stuff?
Every single time we eat. And everything we eat, actually.
All the time. Now, before we get into going into our quick little 5-10 minute detox class and going through the products to help you, does anybody have any questions? If they do, we can go ahead and answer that.
No questions so
Bueller. Bueller, is there any questions out there?
Yeah.
Well, for those of you that joined, yeah, what's up, Blake?
Do you see on the Zoom, do you see the chat? Does Lynn see the chat thing?
No, I do not. Like,
you're going to have to go ahead and read it to us then, Blake, because we can't see it.
Don't some organic farmers, there's some practices where they will maintain the soil, or actually maybe like biodynamic farming. And there are practices that will not only maintain what's there, but help keep putting it back in. But it's just the large production outfits where that's.
Yeah, that's possible. That's a good point. That's possible. But you have to understand, it's like, if you don't know where your food's coming from and you don't know the farm, then 9 times out of 10, it's going to be 85% deficient. So there are farms that do that. Farmers will do things like they will buy rock dust, right, which is full of minerals. Then after a crop is planted, they harvest, they'll till it in, and they'll put rock dust all over the whole field and till those minerals in. That's one way they do it to remineralize the soil. Another way they'll do it is they'll plant cover crops, as an example. They'll plant alfalfa, and they'll let that alfalfa grow for a year or two, and then send its roots down 100 to 200 feet, and then pull the minerals up through the roots into the top, and then they till that in. That's another way of doing it. One of my favorite ways of doing it, like if I was a farmer and I had a big agriculture place and I was doing chemical farming, they're already set up with these chemical sprayers. I thought, like, when I got back from back from Hippocrates, I learned about all this chemical ag farming. I'm like, well, all the farmers in LeGrand are all probably organic and all that stuff. I wasn't even paying attention. And guess what? There's chemicals all over our valley. Everybody's spraying stuff. But for those farmers out there, if you're listening or you have a friend that's a farmer, please share this video with them, because this is like, I can increase their yields, drop their amount of pesticides, fungicides, larvicides, herbicides. So what you can do is you can go to oceansolutions.com. That's oceansolutions.com. And for those of you that want to sprout, you want to get a gallon of this stuff anyway. It's amazing. And it's concentrated ocean minerals, again, like what the dulse sea vegetable is growing in. And they can put some concentrated ocean minerals in their chemical spray tanks and water, and they just fertilize the soil with that. Now, my brother had a huge garden, and I said, hey man, let's spray your garden with these ionic ocean minerals, see what happens. Guess what? It doubled. His garden was just like, went crazy. The cucumbers, he was like, this is ridiculous. His wife, Aries, like, oh my God, we've never had, like, everything was bursting, beautiful, dark colors, red. Him and I also did an experiment. We planted 3 acres in pea seeds. These same types of peas that are growing back here, speckled peas. And all we did was, I said, spray it with the ionic ocean minerals. That's all he did. He sprayed it with that. That was it. And then we harvested. We still had about a 94 to 96% germination rate. We had some really good quality seeds. He's like, it's amazing. There wasn't really too many bugs. We did have some weevils, but that's good because we know it was nature, but it was very few. Now, what happens is when you have a strong soil, the plants become strong, and then the bugs can't really do too much to them like normal. They'll have a little bit, but they're not going to. So that's what happens when you have a weak soil. You end up with plants that are weak, and then you got to spray the pesticides, the fungicides, the larvicides. So for those of you farmers out there that might be listening, if you use the ionic ocean minerals, you probably won't even need to use larvicide. So a lot of farmers are really scared about this because they're worried about not being able to have a crop, because that crop is their money. So start with a small section. If you have a 10-acre farm, do an acre. If you have a 200-acre farm, try 20 acres. Try it in the ionic ocean minerals. You'll see you'll get better results, more yield, less pesticides, less larvicides, and that kind of stuff. And they'd be like, oh, I'm doing this next year on the whole deal. So, look at it that way. And then the last way people do it is that, you mentioned biodynamic farming. Probably the best way to farm is through permaculture. That's where there's no tilling. And that's where those natural microbiomes really are beneficial. So anyway, hopefully that answers that question, Blake. Any
Yeah,
other questions?
appreciate that. I don't see any other questions yet. Feel free to type them in the chat if anybody has any questions along the way. So tell me a little bit about, like, let's say I'm trying to kind of
Raise a child.
Yeah. Let's say I'm trying to like clean up my gut, or I'm having some gut issues and I want to try, what can a raw food diet, a raw plant-based diet, how long do you think it would take if you went that way, to kind of start seeing some results?
Well, the first thing you have to understand is that everybody's got digestive tract issues at some level. Even if you look good on the outside, most people, well over 80% of them, have gut issues on the inside. Now, 90% of us have what's called leaky gut syndrome. This is where our gut, our intestinal villi, these little hair-like structures have been damaged, and you have these little microscopic tears in the intestinal lining, and then undigested food particles and microbes can get through there, and then they go into our bloodstream and they start causing all kinds of problems. This could lead to cancer, it could lead to the Hashimoto's, the Graves' disease, fibromyalgia, MS, again, headaches, whatever, weight gain, all these problems throwing off our hormones. So with that said, the most important thing is that if you're going to do raw foods, you need to chew your food really, 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 really well. Because raw foods, even though they look pretty unintimidating, are like the weights. So let's say you're going to go do, you're going to do a workout. You're going to do a chest workout, right? You bench press, like that's pretty typical, right? And let's say you have somebody that puts a lot of weight on, 225 pounds, and they're doing reps. They're going to have a big, strong chest muscle. If somebody's lifting a broomstick, there's no resistance. So they're not going to really build that much structure or chest muscles, right? Well, the raw food is the 225-pound weight system. When you cook food, you're turning it into a broomstick. That includes meat, vegetables, everything. You're denaturing it, you're bastardizing it, and you're making it, turning into mush, basically. No other creature on this planet cooks their food except humans. Every single living creature on this planet eats a 100% raw living food diet, period. Nothing, they're not cooking their food. So imagine doing bench press with a broomstick your whole life, eating cooked food like I did. Your digestive tract has atrophied. It's become very weak. The muscle structure, the villi and everything are very weak. So when you bring on a raw food diet, that's like throwing 225 pounds on the bench press. You're like, oh, I can't handle it. Okay. This is why it's very important. So you're going to have 2 spotters to help you lift these raw foods. The first spotter is going to be your teeth. And you're going to chew your food really, 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 really well and break it down well. And that's going to secrete those enzymes, lipase and amylase in your mouth that are going to break down your starches and your fats. So that's going to be your first assistance. Chewing your food really well is going to be monumental. Anyway, even if you're eating cooked and raw food. But if you're going to go raw food all in, you need to chew your food really well. Because a lot of times when people go raw food, they'll have gas and bloating. It's because they just chew it really quick and eat it. And they've got all that atrophication that's happened during their entire life, too much weight. Now, the second thing that it'll lead into, if we can come over here, Lynn, is this product. And this is at Nature's Pantry. These are called Ultra Enzymes. So when we went to the Hippocrates Health Institute, this product, they were basically saying, look, your digestive tract is atrophied. You're going to eat raw foods. You need to chew your food really well, and you need to take digestive enzymes for a period of about 1 to 2 years. Why? Because these are going to be like your spotter that's going to assist you in breaking that food down, so you don't have to, your digestive tract doesn't have to labor so much, and that's going to help you break your food down. So especially if you have like a big chicken barbecue or something like that, you're eating a heavy protein meal, steaks or something, you want to eat a lot of enzymes. Now, what we did with our Formula Special is not only did we put 20 different enzymes in there to break down all kinds of food matter, but we loaded this with minerals. That's why it's Ultra Enzymes with minerals, because the minerals, again, have been farmed out of the soil. So when you're eating food, it's supposed to have minerals in it. So while you're taking your enzymes to help break your food down and rehabilitate that digestive tract, we're also replacing the minerals and mixing it in with the food so that it's more harmonious with the body and we can get those nutrients into you on a cellular level. Any other questions? Is Blake still
No,
there?
I think Yeah, sorry. No, I think you're good. The dulse, there was a question about the dulse sea vegetables, and they were just asking if that was included in the package, and it should be included in the meal kit you got. And Tim, do you want to hold those up just so they know what they look like a little baggie? It should look like a little herb in a baggie. Or yeah, the ones you got from the store would be in a little plastic baggie, and it's just a kind of purplish, ground up.
Yeah, it's
And
just
there
like
you
a
go.
dried leaf that was ground up into a powder or granules.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice granules.
I'm gonna turn it back over to you. Do you want to do your little detox class?
Yeah, we'll just do it. We'll just wrap up really quick. So,
Okay, thank
so hey, thank you, man. So this is really important. Eating these raw foods and healthier foods and living foods, that's really important. But the sub-basement, we have to go back to the digestive tract. The average person is carrying around about 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material and mucoid plaque lining the small and large intestine. If you ever want to have a chance of being healthy, you just have to have awareness about this. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, and you need to clean it up. Okay. We have now. There's a couple ways of doing this. Number one is drinking lots of water. We have a product from India called Gut Detox. Now, Gut Detox is an ancient formula. It's been around for thousands of years. It's super gentle. There's no diarrhea. Let me repeat, there's no diarrhea. That's a big deal. And you're going to take 3 of these in the morning and 3 at night with water for 15 days. That's going to complete the initial detox. You can expect to lose about 6 to 12 pounds of all that nasty funk and gunk and junk that's lining your intestinal tract. That's very important. We have to clean out that pathway of elimination so that we can get better absorption of nutrients as we chew our food and we bring these healthier foods and supplements into our body. And over time, this will clean out your organ systems, and it's a good body balancer. My formulator who made it brought it back from India, and he's been taking it for over 35 years. I've been on it for over 5 years. I will never not have this because I'm always retoxing. I don't eat perfect. Nobody does. And this keeps those little hair-like structures, those villi, nice and clean without taking out the good bacteria. That's a very important product. So, and then after that, again, just 3 a day for maintenance. Now, the second level of detoxification, we have to look at things like heavy metals, radiation that we're exposed to. Like, you know, we've got Hanford, right? In the Tri-Cities area, and like the Hanford leak, and then there's Fukushima over in Japan. All this stuff is in our ecosystem. We're getting exposed to it. And pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, larvicides, rubber compounds coming off of tires, and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, paint's off gassing. Yeah, there's just so much stuff. So we have another product we developed because of this called Toxin Detox. This pulls out the heavy metals, the mercuries, the cadmiums, the leads, especially if you're eating a lot of fish. I know over in the Snake River tributary, like they recommend not eating more than like 1 or 2 fish a year because of the heavy metal, the mercury poisoning, right? So I was pissed because we used to go crappie fishing over there. We were eating tons of them, and I wonder how long I was doing that. Those things will destroy your brain and destroy your nervous system and stuff like that. So Toxin Detox is a very simple daily detoxer. I just take 3 gut detox and 3 toxin detox in the morning, and I drink it down with my greens, which we'll talk about next. So Toxin Detox, again, that's at Nature's Pantry. You can check it out. Now, Green 85 it replaces juicing. Now, you see that juicer over there? You can zoom in on that for a second, Lynn. I literally healed myself with a juicer just like that. And I had one before that was a little bit different, but I would make a green juice twice a day without fail. But here's the deal. You're going to drop $300, $400, $500, $600 on a juicer. And then you're going to have to buy the produce. You're going to have to make the juice. You're going to have to clean the juicer. And we were actually growing sprouts, and I've been growing sprouts for 10 years, like the ones behind me over here. And we would cut those on the spot and juice them, put those living foods, those living juices, those living actives and pigments, and all those bioflavonoids and cofactors that come with the living food that we're not getting. And that really transformed my health. But very few people will do it. How do I know this? Because I held juicing classes for over 2,500 people, and only 1 out of 10 would stick with it. And they usually had cancer because their back was against the wall. That's the way we are. We don't do anything until we have to. And then we scramble and try to save ourselves. My word of advice is get ahead of the game. Don't be a statistic like everybody else. Be smart about it. And that's why you're a challenger and why you're here, and get ahead of the curve. So Green 85 was specifically designed for those of you that are busy, that want to get as close to a fresh pressed juice as you possibly can. It has over 23 superfoods. It's got the wheatgrass juice extract, spirulina, chlorella, which is a green algae. It's got broccoli sprout extract in it, which is known from Johns Hopkins as an anti-cancer product because it has sulforaphane in it, which is a phytochemical that just wipes out cancer cells. And there's a whole, and then it has dulse in here. We have the dulse sea vegetable in there for the iodine. And what's really special about Green 85 now is this has been our number one product for 5 years. We just added 1,000 international units of cholecalciferol, which is vitamin D3. So now with the vitamin A in here and the zinc and the vitamin D, we've got a triangle of protection for viruses. So colds, flus, COVID, these types of things. So 1,000 international units every time. So when you're taking Green 85 in the morning, at night, you're going to be getting 2,000 international units a day. So how do you take this? Scoop in the morning with some water, put it in a nut milk or seed milk, drink it, and take your toxin detox and your gut detox with it, and you're done. And then again in the afternoon, about a half an hour to an hour before dinner, you take another one. And what you're going to notice when you start flooding your body and replacing these 85% of nutrients is that your cells are going to say, hey, I got what I need. I can accomplish the job, and your hunger cravings go away and you can't eat as much. So your grocery bill is going to drop. Now, if you're doing Green 85 once a day, your grocery bill will drop about $50 a month. If you're doing it twice a day, it'll drop about 100. So Green 85 literally pays for itself. The other products are an investment. Two more. Probiotics. We talked about those earlier. That's why we put those Bubby sauerkraut on your raw wrap. Very important. I want to get my probiotics from as many sources as I can. We have a very diverse microbiome in our gut. We've got like 60 trillion bacteria in our body. Think about that, 60 trillion. I want as many as I can. So I take this probiotic and prebiotic formula. The prebiotics are the food to feed them, just a fiber. And this is 5 very powerful strains of soil-based microorganisms. These are very powerful. Read the instructions, ramp up over a 3-week period, and then just follow the instructions. You'll see a big difference in your gut, the gas, the bloating, and how you feel. The mental clarity, because the gut and the brain are connected. Get your raw foods, the raw sauerkrauts, the raw kimchis. Get outside. It showed that I was just listening, I knew that people that had pets had higher immune systems. Why? Because the pets were going outside and they're bringing in all the dirt and the bacteria and the dirt into the house, and you're loving and kissing all of your pets. There was also a study, I think it was in Finland, where 43% of the children had less ear infections that had pets in the home, right? So we know we need to get outside. We need to get in the dirt. Let your kids play in the dirt. Get outside as much as possible. Eat lots of raw foods, lots of fermented foods, and take yourself some probiotics. There's also probiotics in our Green 85, which is another different strain. So I'm getting them from all different sorts of methods, and I suggest you do the same. It's very powerful. It's a big part of your immune system is that gut bacteria. So get as many of them as you can. Now, the last one, I don't even think Blake has ordered this yet. Maybe you guys can make a demand for it, but you can pick it up on our website in the meantime. It's our Turmeric 100 product. And this is an anti-inflammatory pain nutrient absorption breakthrough. So what we did is we bought a very expensive machine. We took 95% curcuminoids, which are the active ingredient in turmeric. And you saw me put turmeric on the raw wrap, and I've been teaching people that for years. And we made this molecules very, very, very small. And what we've got here now and suspended it into a liquid is we have a turmeric product that's 185 times more absorbable and more anti-inflammatory. So what's the results for you? We have people already with bulging discs, pain shooting down their back and their legs. It's subsided 80%. Blood pressure is dropping. Where this product will literally, you put it in your mouth and swish it around, and it just disappears in your mouth in like 20 seconds. And it goes right through the blood-brain barrier, right into the bloodstream, and it goes right to the cell. And that even the cellular inflammation, it douses it like throwing a bucket of water on a campfire. And so what's going to happen now is that your hormones like T3 and T4 from your thyroid will be able to communicate better. Vitamin D is an example, which is not a vitamin. It's actually a hormone. Will be able to attach. The hormones will start communicating better, and your body's going to start working better. The pain goes down. The inflammation goes down. you start sleeping better. And because the inflammation goes down on a cellular level, you're going to get way better absorption of nutrients into the cell. So that's a new product. We're really excited about it. I hope you guys try them out. Try out one of them, both of them, all of them. Just, I take all of them all the time, and it's made a huge difference. I'm 47 years old, and I feel really, really, really good. And 10 years ago, I felt like garbage. I just felt really bad 10 years ago. So that's it for the detox class. If anybody has any questions about detoxing, I can answer those right now, or those will just get wrapped up and let you guys eat your raw wraps.
Thank you so much, Tim. Really appreciate that. And yeah, let's get that turmeric product in the store. That sounds really good.
Awesome.
No problem, buddy.
Well, again, just appreciate you so much. And thank you so much, Lynn, for shooting the film. And
You're welcome.
you guys have a lovely evening. We're going to go, Misty and the kids just got done making our raw wraps, so we're going to go eat them.
Sounds like a winner.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, stick with the challenge. Believe in yourself. Love yourself. Keep putting yourself first. And I can't wait to see you guys at the end and see all your results and all the good things that you're doing for yourself and your family and your community. So thanks for doing this for yourself. It's really cool.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.